Peeps, good to see you today. We're going to go Facebook Live in just a few. Come on, people. There we go. Well, people out there, I'm going to put my script in here for Mr. Copeland, and we're going to go live. Hey, folks, good morning in Colorado. It's Friday, 11 a.m. Yeah, a couple minutes past. We're going to talk a little bit about the Professional Fighters League, MMA, and we're going to have one of my great guests I've had in the past, Josh Copeland, on. He'll be here at the half hour. Before that, we're going to talk a little bit about some stuff regarding football and all different kinds of things going on in football. We're also going to have a little bit of a chat about MMA. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all right. All right, everybody. Good morning and welcome to 360 Performance Talk. I'm your host, Lowell Whiteman, and we are at KUHSdenver.com on the air today. And as I said before, at the half hour, we're going to talk to Josh Cuddly Bear Copeland. He is now with the Professional Fighters League MMA group based out of Washington, D.C. So I won't tell you too much more than that before Josh gets here. So we're gonna get right into some news about a few things. One of those is, gosh, there's a lot of great stuff going on in the country. You know, we're getting ready for NFL football to start. The players are in the second round of voluntary practices in the month of July. You know, we've got the 4th of July holiday coming up, so they're not going to be on then. But the week after that, things are going to start popping. I'm going to pull up CBS Sports and talk a little bit about the World Cup, FIFA World Cup 2018. Got some great stuff happening with that. We've got some predictions that some folks have made about what's going to happen in the World Cup and who they think is going to win. For us Americans, it's just appreciation for the sport because there's no U.S. team on the docket. And it's very interesting to have just the love for the sport. If U.S. Fans are involved, it's because they love the sport of soccer. Let me see if I can get my. I want to get those predictions up here because that's going to be so cool to watch what happens in the sports world with FIFA. CBSSports.com, typing it in, getting it going. Come on, work with me here. Okay, as that's queuing up, let me just talk a little bit about what's happening in the NFL world. A number of good things, but I'm going to end with the good and start off with the not so good. And one of those not so good things is Commissioner Goodell. He announced some findings that were being looked at over the last few months that involves the Carolina Panthers. And here's the headline on their press release. The press release says, Commissioner Goodell announces findings in Carolina Panthers workplace investigation. Now, on the surface, that particular press headline doesn't sound all that ominous. But I tell you what, it does get a little bit kind of gray when we look at this. The U.S. Attorney and SEC Chairman Mary Jo White looked into some allegations of workplace misconduct by the Carolina Panthers owner Jerry Richardson. So it involves the owner's misconduct in the workplace. The commissioner appointed White to serve as the independent investigator following the public disclosure back in December of 2017 of allegations of improper workplace conduct by Mr. Richardson. That's Jerry Richardson, the owner. I'm not going to go any further about what she discovered, but let's just say she did not discover in favor of Mr. Richardson and the Carolina Panthers organization. It appears, based on the findings, the Panthers have some cultural changes and adaptations they need to make based on the behaviors of the Panthers. And interestingly enough, here's what really boggles my mind. The chief operating officer for the Panthers, I'll let you draw your own conclusions when I say the name. It's Tina Becker. Is it safe for me to say that that's a female? I just want to make sure. You know, it's 2018. Names are kind of interesting. It's just interesting to me that we've got a chief operating officer that's a female. And here's the end result. The current owner, as a result of these findings, Jerry Richardson, was basically pushed out. So the NFL approved the sale of the Panthers to David Tepper. And the sale is expected to close in about 2 weeks. Now, the press release was dated 6/28/18. So, you know, just after the 4th of July, that sale should be completed. But does that mean that the points of the investigation and the findings of the investigation of the bad behavior is going to go away? I mean, it's not. I mean, yes, I understand. It's Jerry Richardson is the focal point of the behavior, and he happens to be still currently the owner, but will soon not be. But does that mean the behavior changes and goes away, and everything's just wonderful in the world of the Carolina Panthers? That's what concerns me, because this seems to be necessary steps, but not necessarily steps that fix the problem. So let's wait and see. Let's use this phrase: the jury is still out. All right, so that's the one of the first announcements. That's not so. It's kind of gray, not so good, not so rosy and pink, and wonderful. By the way, I'm still. If you see me moving around here, I'm still trying to get into the CBS Sports News. Let's take a look here. Sports News, CBS Sports Network. Yes, that's what we want. CBS Sports Network. Yes. All right, let's get into, don't want that one, no, we want, let's try this, FIFA World Cup. All right, just so you know, here's some announcements on Fox Television. Fox is carrying a lot of the FIFA World Cup matches. France on Saturday, that's tomorrow, plays Argentina. And that is at 8 a.m. and I'm guessing that could be, it doesn't say here, but I'm going to guess that might be Eastern time, possibly. But 8 a.m. is what they've got for tomorrow. And then the other match tomorrow is Uruguay versus Portugal. Both are on Fox Sports. And then on the 1st, that's Sunday, this is going to be a good one, because Spain versus Russia, that match will really, whoever wins that is going to tilt the predictors table to the people that are really, there's a lot of people in Spain's court with regard to going to the finals and actually winning it. But Russia's also one of those in the mix to be in the finals and perhaps even win the World Cup. And that match is Sunday at 8 a.m. And then the next match after that is Croatia versus Denmark at 12 p.m. And then on the 2nd, Monday the 2nd, you have, here's a big one. This is going to bring some big crowds. Brazil versus Mexico. And also remember that Brazil is one of the teams that's on top of the list of the prognosticators, the predictors, the gamblers, to be part of that final setup for the who's going to be the champion. And they're going to play against they're going to play Brazil. Mexico is going to play. Mexico's still in the hunt. I don't know that Mexico's the favorite in that match on Monday. The other match on Monday at noon is Belgium versus Japan. Belgium's in the mix. Japan is kind of a spoiler. Not sure what's going to happen there. Then on the 3rd, we've got Sweden versus Switzerland, and that's at 8 a.m. Then at noon, you have Colombia versus England. Now, understand something. England has really surprised some people, and they could be a continued surprise. Now, remember, at this stage, we're in the quarterfinals or semis, quarters. So we're getting close to where this is all going to wrap itself up, and this is where the intangibles start kicking in. And I think that if England has the mental toughness and resiliency that mental toughness brings them, they could actually surprise Colombia and move up, where they're not expected to do that based on most of the prognosticators and odds makers. Colombia is. They're expected to move on past England. But just watch it, just for the sake of the sport. I have no personal affiliations or desires for any one of the teams to win. I just like watching the competition because at this level, some amazing, amazing shots and footwork and ball handling happens at this level of competition. So there's the update on FIFA and the World Cup 2018 schedule for the rest of this weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Lots of great things happening. Okay, so that I stuck a good thing in there just for the moment, but here's another thing from the NFL that isn't so pleasant before I get into the really pleasant stuff. Here's the headline. You judge from the headline, then we'll go into more details. Buccaneers Jameis Winston suspended for first 3 regular season games for violation of NFL personal conduct policy. Now, they don't tell you specifically what that conduct is unless you want to read the rest of the press release, which I do. So it's kind of broad. What personal contact? He picked his nose in public? What did he do? What policy did he break? How egregious was it? How offensive could it be? All right, so here's the first paragraph. Jameis Winston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was notified today and today was on 6/28, by NFL Special Counsel for Conduct, Todd Jones, that he has been suspended without pay for the Buccaneers. Boo-hoo. Suspended without pay. Any idea what his contract is? I don't think he's going to miss it. He may whine a little bit about it, but he's not going to get paid. For the first 3 regular season Buccaneers games, for the violation of, again, the NFL personal conduct policy. Now, here's the specifics. So in November of last year, so we're at what? July, almost July, and he gets the notice, late June, that something he did back in November of 2017, so it takes that long to adjudicate it, review it, make an opinion, get everybody on board, and get to this point. The NFL learned of an incident involving Winston and a shared ride service driver, the driver, not somebody else that's in the shared ride, that had taken place in March 2016. Oh my goodness. So it's a long way, it's over 2 years ago, in Scottsdale, Arizona. So how long were people from the Buccaneers and Jameis Winston's camp trying to kind of like push this to the side? So it happened over 2 years ago, finally got looked at in November 2017. The incident, which had been immediately reported by the driver to her employer, so the driver is a female, and which resulted in Winston's removal from the ride-sharing platform, was also publicly reported last November. So we knew about it in November. The NFL knew about it in November. Jameis, Mr. Winston probably knew about it. So the league, here's their word in the press release, the league promptly initiated a comprehensive investigation that included interviews with several persons, including the driver, Winston and others with relevant information. All right, so they got all the people involved that were subject to this incident. The league also examined the extensive amount of other evidence, including telephone records, business records, data from electronic devices, and other communications. So based on the investigation, the NFL found that Winston had violated the NFL personal conduct policy, which allows for discipline to be imposed even when criminal charges are not presented. All right, so here's basically what happened. The personal conduct policy, he violated the personal conduct policy by touching the driver in an inappropriate and sexual manner without her consent, and that disciplinary action was necessary and appropriate. Consequences. Now, I say that with a good, hey, there's rules, there's guidelines, you have, you're a public person, you raise your behavior up to an exemplary status, but 2 years? 2 years. What would have happened if in November that review happened more expeditiously than waiting until November of, so March 2016, review in November, but it was all reported in March. It takes all that time to get the NFL to take a look at the policy if there was a violation, and then it's not until June 28th of 2018 that he's notified. How much regular season did we avoid missing? Now, that's just facts. I'm just saying things about what's real in the marketplace. The decisions that are made, the drawing it out or the appearance of drawing it out is totally up to others that are in positions that get paid much higher than I do for those decisions and judging those things. But just some thoughts, because we're in our first segment of today. Our first segment, mindset segment, is going to be a little longer because we're going to be waiting for Josh to pop in at 11:30. We're at the half hour, or the quarter hour. I'm sorry, we're at the quarter hour right now, and I want to just reemphasize that our theme for today is managing change, just like what this NFL report talked about. There was some change. Well, was it managed to the expectations of everybody involved? I don't think so. It was very long, but that's just my opinion. I don't govern and judge the policies and procedures of the NFL and how it's applied in a judicious manner to those players that are part of the Players Association. But that being said, it just seems the timing seems a little bit bad. But it does fit what we're talking about today in our mindset in our theme today about managing change. It could be, are you managing change as a free agent? Because there's lots of guys out there still looking for a job in the NFL. We've got the NBA draft that just happened. Rookies are starting to join their teams or thinking and looking forward to joining their teams. You've got these great things happening around the country, around the world, with regards to the different start and stops of things. So we've got the NFL football players getting ready to start their regular preseason workouts. That'll happen in the mid to late part of July. So there's lots of changes going on. And then we've got Josh Cuddly Bear Copeland coming in. He's going to talk about new league changes. Now, they happened last fall when the PFL came in and acquired another group that had been part of the MMA fighting families. But PFL, it seems like they've come in and really organized with a fighter's mindset. They're coming in working for and with the fighters. And I'm going to let Josh explain that. But those are some interesting changes. And how do those changes impact how the fighters like Josh deal with it? It's going to be a great discussion. I love seeing Josh when he has the time to visit with us. So here's some good stuff. Talk about the NFL stuff, some good mindset stuff. Thinking about how we get ready for the day. Well, here's some things that are people that are going to get ready for the day. It's going to be here's the headline for NFL press release. NFL Network names broadcast talent for the AFFL coverage. Now, you're going to ask me what AFFL stands for. Well, it stands for American Flag Football League, AFFL. Now, they're going to have a U.S. Open of Football tournament, and it's making its television debut on Saturday, tomorrow, June 30th. You've got people that are going to be radio announcers for this Flag Football League. The former NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky and Good Morning Football's Kay Adams are on the sidelines. The Giants radio voice of Bob Papa is going to be with them as well. The tournament goes from the 30th to the 1st. It's It's in Pittsburgh. And then you have let's see, it goes July 7th through the 8th is going to be from Atlanta for the Ultimate Final on July 19th in Houston. And it's going to have NFL Today access with host Cole Wright. The NFL Network's coverage of the U.S. Open football tournament is made up of 11 live game broadcasts featuring the top 8 amateur flag football teams in the nation. The amateur teams will battle it out for a chance to test their skills against one of the 4 pro teams captained